Hello guys, today we are starting a book Cambridge Inspiring Science book number 7 textbook chapter number 1 Nutrition in Plants. Nutrition has been derived from the word nutrient. Nutrient is a substance which the organism obtains from the surroundings to derive energy for their maintenance and growth. Thus, the term nutrition refers to the means by which an organism obtains its food and also process by which nutrients in food are broken down to simpler molecules for utilization by the body. Various inorganic or organic raw materials are required for building the structure and maintaining the body functions for an organism. They are broken down by different modes of nutrition. Now we will discuss about the different modes of plant nutrition. The mechanisms by which organisms obtain their foods are referred to as the modes of nutrition. Organisms either synthesize their own food or obtain the prepared by another organism in various ways. There are basically two modes of nutrition: autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition. Autotrophic nutrition. Auto means self and trophic means food. The organisms which synthesize their own food are called autotrophs, and this process of synthesizing food is called autotrophic nutrition. All green plants, cyanobacteria, are called autotrophs. They make their own food by the help of light energy and sun and carbon dioxide from the air and water from the soil. This process is called photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is the process by which a plant uses the energy from the light of the sun to make its own food. The conditions required from the photosynthesis are water, which comes from the soil, sunlight, which comes from the sun, carbon dioxide, which is in the air, and the green pigment called chlorophyll, which is present in leaves. Photosynthesis is a complex process. As a series of chemical reactions change the raw material like carbon dioxide, water to the food product glucose. The process can be shown simply by looking at the starting materials and the end products. Let us look at the following reaction of photosynthesis. This is the chemical equation of the photosynthesis: carbon dioxide plus water, and the process by sunlight and chlorophyll, and the end products are glucose plus oxygen. Sunlight is the major source of energy from photosynthesis. Leaves are the site where photosynthesis takes place. Leaves have some special organelles called chloroplast, which contains the green pigment chlorophyll. Some plants like the cactus don't have any leaves. They perform photosynthesis using their green stem. Carbon dioxide enters leaf through tiny pores called stomata. They are found in underside of the leaf. Gas moves in and out through stomata. Look at Fig 1.2 to see an open stomata and a closed stomata. You can see these are the open stomata and the closed stomata. Water is absorbed from the soil by root hairs in the ground. There are special conducting tubes called xylem which carry water to food making cells in leaves. Carbon dioxide combines with water using the stored energy in the chloroplast through a chemical reaction to produce the food glucose. The glucose is then transported through a special conducting tubes called phloem to different parts of the plant for energy. Some is stored as starch and some changes to a more complex substance, like cellulose. The vegetables that we eat contains this stored food. The oxygen released during the photosynthesis is required for living beings on earth. During breathing, we take in oxygen and give out the carbon dioxide. Therefore, photosynthesis is a necessary phenomenon on the earth. This is a diagram of photosynthesis. You can see a flower and the leaf, and the oxygen is going up from the leaf, and flower is taking sunlight from the sun, and it is taking the carbon dioxide from the air and water from the soil. The second type of nutrition is heterotrophic nutrition. So hetero means different and trophic refers to food. The organisms that obtain their food from other organisms are called heterotrophs. And this process of obtaining food is called heterotrophic nutrition. All the heterotrophs depend directly or indirectly on the autotrophic organisms for their food and energy requirements. Although most of the plants have chlorophyll and thus they can manufacture their own food, there are some plants which do not have chlorophyll. Like humans and other animals, such depend on food prepared by other green plants. These plants use heterotrophic mode of nutrition. According to the mode of nutrition, heterotrophic plants can be classified into following types: parasitic plants, saprophytic plants, symbiotic plants, and insectivorous plants. First, we'll discuss about parasitic plants. These plants get their food from other green plants, known as host. Parasitic plants suck the sap from the stem of host using their special parasitic roots called haustoria. Haustoria penetrate into the host tissue and make connections with the conducting elements of the host and draw nourishment. Only the parasitic plant benefit from this relationship. Such a mode of nutrition is called parasitic nutrition. The common example of parasitic plants are Cuscuta, Dodler, Orobanche, and Viscum mystoloi, and they do not have chlorophyll in the body, and thus they get all their food from the host plants. Let us know about these plants. Cuscuta. Cuscuta can be identified by its thin stems with the leaves reduced to a minute scales. A cuscuta attaches itself to an adjacent plant and wraps itself around it. If the host contains food beneficial to cuscuta, the latter produces haustoria that penetrates the vascular system of the host. The original root of the cuscuta in the soil then dies and it gets all of the nourishment from the body of host plant. One cuscuta plant can attach to a number of host plants such as alfalfa, clover, potatoes, chrysanthemum, dahlia, ivy, Patanius, etc. Next plant is Orobanche. Orobanche are not root parasites of a wide range of plants having broad leaves. They lack chlorophyll and appear above the ground only when the flower like Cuscuta boom wraps also have a number of hosts that include pea, bean, lentil, tomato, potato, capsicum, lettuce, etc. Orobanche cannot make its own food by photosynthesis as it does not have chlorophyll. Thus, it obtains all its nutrition from the host plant. Its long-lived seed germinate in response to the chemicals coming out from the roots of its potential host plants. The seedling doesn't emerge above the ground but form an osteorium connecting it to the root of host root and develops into tissues integrated into the host root. So here is the plant Orobanche. Wiskim. The common name of Wiskim is Mistletoe. It is a parasitic evergreen shrub that grows high up in the branches of old tree. The plant extracts its essential mineral nutrients and water by sending out roots into the bark of host trees. The most common host of Mistletoe is apple tree, though it can also grow on other trees with soft bark like oak, chestnut, black poplar, and various fruit trees. So as you can see here is the Wiskum. So the second type of the plants are saprophytic plants. So the saprophytic plants get their nutrition from dead and decayed organic matter. They are usually white in color, although they can have bright colorful flowers. The common example of saprophytic plant is Rhizopus, bread mold, mucor, pin mold, yeast, and agaricus mushroom. These plants grow on rotten material and suck the nutrition using tiny hairs. As you can see, here is the yeast, which is an example of saprophytic plants, and mushroom agaricus, which is commonly called mushroom. It is also the example of saprophytic plant. And a bread mold is also an example of saprophytic plants. Symbiotic plants. There are certain plants that grow on other plants and share their food material. None of the plants are harmed from this association. Such plants are called symbiotic plants. One of the plants of a symbiotic association is an autotroph, and thus it can manufacture its own food from sunlight. The other plant gets its food from the partner. Lichen is a good example of symbiotic plant. The body of lichen consists of algae and fungi. They live in close physical contact with each other. Algae, being green, provides food material to the fungal component in the lichen. In return, the fungi provide shelter, water, and minerals to algae. Here you can see the lichen. The third type is insectivore plants. There are some plants that feed on the insect trapped within their leaves. The soil where they grow does not have enough minerals, especially nitrogen. Therefore, they obtain their nutrients from the insect's body. Thus, they are called insectivore plants or carnivore plants. The leaves of insectivore plants are modified in several ways for trapping insects. The trapped insects are killed by these plants, and nutrients of the insect bodies are sucked by the plants. The common example of insectivore plants are pitcher plant, cinderew, bladderwort, and Venus flytrap. The pitcher plant. In the pitcher plants, leaves are modified to form of pitchers or cup-like structures. These pitcher plants have hollow tubes which is open at the top and are completely or partially covered by a specialized flap or hood. The brightly colored hood often secretes nectar and attracts insects or other prey. The inside of a pitcher is lined with downward pointing hair. Once an insect is trapped by the pitcher, the hood closes down and the hair prevents the insect from crawling out. There are a small pool of water at the bottom of the pitcher. The insect drowns here and its body is decomposed by digestive acid secreted into the water by the plant. The result is nitrogen-rich liquid food available to the plant. This is a type of pitcher plant. That's all for chapter 1. We will catch up again. Like, share, subscribe my channel, learn like a professional. See you later.